Good afternoon, everybody. All right, so welcome back. Of course, you can see we're a little different this week. We have an extra person in our usual trio here. This is a super exciting episode this week. We don't always do these every single month, but once in a while we like to interview a fabulous, wonderful person who works here at the library. And today our guest is Carol.
Yay.
And she works at the Sioux City Public Library's youth department. And so, of course, it's the usual cast of characters. Otherwise, it's myself and Sarah and Michael. And so, yeah, we're just going to interrogate her intensely with all kinds of questions. And yeah, so I guess we can probably just dive right in. And of course, if you're watching us live right now, feel free to jump in. If you have a question for Carol, or if you just want to maybe share a good book you're reading right now, we love to just hear what you're thinking. So feel free to dive in with your questions.
Yes, yeah. If you're a regular viewer of Reference Roundtable, we have a little video to show how this kind of came about. So we'll show you, and if you have watched before, you'll know what we're talking about. But this is kind of what led us to invite Carol onto the show. So take a look at this design. Oh, cool.
This feels like historical fiction for people who like to watch HGTV.
Yeah.
I am also very intrigued.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, those novels that are about people who actually existed are always really fun.
Yeah.
We almost had a guest star. That's what I was waving at. I promise there aren't ghosts.
Cool.
Fascinating book. So
definitely is not like anything I've read.
Right. I don't read too many books about nuns in medieval Europe. But I recommend this one.
The cover is really cool too.
We had a visitor, so shout out to Carol.
That's why
Did a laugh. She's gonna have to join us.
We're gonna pull her in
We're
on
gonna
camera
drag
next
her
time.
in. Yes,
she's gonna have to tell us her favorite books.
So here I am.
Officially.
This has been a long time in the making.
In my defense, the door over here to my right is also the door that leads into the youth services storage room. And so apparently Thursday at 3:30 is the time where you go and put things away. You don't realize that, wait a minute, there's something going on in the other room. So
secretly you just wanted to join in. So.
Yes. Yeah.
You got your foot in the door.
Yes, that's right.
Well, you got your wish, so here we are. So I guess let's just go for it. So Carol, why don't you start by telling us what your job title is and what you do around here?
Okay. My job title is library assistant, and I'm in youth services. I've been here at the library for about 32 years, so I'm kind of one of the old timers now. And so I help with programming for kids, story times. We help at the information desk on the main floor, answering questions for adults and kids. And presenting programs.
That sounds busy.
So you said you've been here for 32 years, right? So that's 3 decades of the Sioux City Public Library. And so that makes me awfully curious. What sort of changes or just things that have you witnessed over your time with the library?
Well, obviously the move, how technology has changed the library's role in people's lives. I started at the library in December of 1989. And so we were in the Carnegie building then. That would be the one up on 6th Street that's now apartments. And then just a couple months later, then we moved into this building. So, moving into this building, having more space, a bigger children's area, because in the old building, I don't know if people remember, it was just one room and it wasn't a very big room. And that was all of the children's materials in that one spot. And so, now we have a vibrant children's area that has lots of things. We've got a computer lab there. We're going to be adding some really fun new things too. And then, kind of seeing when we renovated back in 2011, I think it was. and kind of opened up even more. We had some walls in the children's area that were taken down, and so kind of more of an open concept. So
Cool. So like big physical changes.
Yeah.
That's cool. You were in the old Carnegie building. A lot of people still like bring that building up today.
Yeah, I wish I had been there a little longer because I didn't get a real good feel for it, just a couple months. But yeah, so it was really different to be here. And I actually started out part-time as a part-time staff member. And then like in 1994, I think it was, then that's when I started as a full-time youth service person. So, but I was talking to Sarah, and she's actually been here for quite a few years too in different capacities. So
Yes. But you've been here the second longest though, right?
oh, I think so. Yeah. I'm an old timer. I'll never leave. No.
You're too
are
long
the
now.
library.
I don't think anybody wants you to leave.
That's
Oh,
true. That's very true.
It's been pretty amazing. I mean, seeing kids that, used to come to story time, and then now they're bringing their kids to story time. So that's kind of wild, but yeah, pretty
That's
great.
sweet.
Very cool. So you can tell us however much you want to or don't, but do you want to tell us a little bit about your family or your background, just anything else you want to share with us?
Sure. I actually grew up in Sioux City. So I went to St. Michael's in Leeds for grade school, Heelan for high school, and then Briarcliff. I graduated from Briarcliff with a degree in psychology, actually, not library science, but I've had lots of on-the-job training. And then my minor was music, so I play the piano. I'm trying to learn how to play the ukulele because I would love to be able to play it at story time and sing along.
nice.
But I can only play like two chords right now. So, so yeah. And then my husband, Dan, we've been married for 31 years. And I have 2 sons. William is going to be 28 and Sam is 19. And we adopted a rescue dog about 1.5 years ago. So that's been interesting. And he's very much a pandemic dog because he loves us, but he doesn't really like anyone else. So he's not very well socialized. She. Her name is Blue. She's part Black Lab and part Blue Heeler. So she's super sweet and loyal to us, but kind of a little bit wary of strangers. So yeah.
I like that you've been at the library longer than you've been married too. I was like, that's kind of awesome. just by a little bit.
Just by a little bit, yeah.
All right. Well, we have to ask, some library questions.
Sure.
We got to talk about books and stuff like that. So, do you have like a favorite author or a favorite book, or maybe a favorite author and a favorite book?
I don't really, it kind of depends on what you're talking about. Because if we're talking about kids' books, my favorite author is Mo Willems because I love the Piggy and Elephant books. I brought a couple of those with me because they're just so fun to read at story time, and I feel like I'm always recommending them because Mo Willems is he's amazing because you look at it and the pictures are kind of simplistic, but he can just evoke so much emotion with his Piggy and Elephant characters and even the pigeon, because he wrote "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus."
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and so I just love those books. They're just really funny for story time to read, and the kids like them too. I tend to read when it comes to adult books. My favorite genre is horror. I really like speculative fiction. I don't know if that's just because, you read about things that are worse than your own life. I don't know, or like dystopian or, post-apocalyptic. I kind of like those kind of things. And I like anthologies because they're short little snippets. And, if you're busy, sometimes I have a problem with I'll start a book and then I don't get back to it for, a week. And then I'm trying to remember what even happened. And so I really do like, short stories. So I like Ellen Datlow does a lot of the editing of some of the horror stories of the year, the best horror fiction of the year. So I'm reading some of her things. I do have a teen book that I read when it first came out, probably in 2010, 2011. And it's still one of my favorite books. I've read it probably 7 or 8 times. It's called Life as We Knew It by Sarah Beth Pfeffer.
Ooh.
And it's a really interesting story. It's told like in a diary format, which I know some people don't always like that, but it's a teenage girl, and she's living in kind of a small town in Pennsylvania, and there's an asteroid or a meteor that's going to hit the moon. And the astronomers know about it, and everybody's really excited it's going to be this big event, but they don't realize that they think, it's not going to cause any problems, but it actually knocks the moon out of its orbit. And so it causes like these cataclysmic things to happen, earthquakes and tidal waves, and, they lose power and phones. And it's just a really, it kind of sort of timely, because I remember reading it and thinking, wow, her mom just like had such a plan of like, I need to go get this and this and this and matches and aspirin and all of these things that they needed later, and cans of food, and just kind of how they struggled when, in the winter when they didn't know if they were going to have enough food to survive. So it's really, and it kind of takes you into the book a little bit. Like you're reading it and you're thinking, I got to go to the store. It's full,
It definitely ticks that speculative fiction box, like what if.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really interesting. I've never heard of that book before. So
I
definitely
love
intrigued me.
books like written in I almost said a different dire word. In diary entries, or like letters and stuff like that. I love those. And they like, what's that series? The Dear America books. I used to read those all the time.
Oh yeah.
So this sounds like that plus like apocalyptic stuff. It sounds so cool.
Yeah, and that first person, telling it in the first person like that, it just makes it so much more, I don't know, significant or something, because she's writing about her emotions and what's happening, and rather than kind of like seeing it from the outside, sort of. So
cool. Well, do you have any books that you've read recently that you would recommend, or is there a book you're reading right now? Or
just like I said, just kind of some short stories. Screams from the Dark is another one that Ellen Datlow has edited. That's really good. She includes a lot of, I know, like Michael for the summer reading program, My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Stephen Graham Jones, a lot of his short stories are included in her anthologies too. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there's any other particular. There's one that I'm reading right now. I believe it's called Black Tide. And it just came out not too long ago. And it's kind of like an alien invasion. And it's this man and woman that just met each other, like she's house sitting and he's at his house and contemplating what to do with his life. And they've just met each other. And then suddenly, like, these aliens attack the shore and they're trying to figure out what to do. And so it's been pretty good. I need to get back to finishing that one. But
nice. You are like
this, but Black Tide.
Cool. You're the perfect person to interview this time of year, like getting us in the mood for spooky season.
Carol's Halloween picks or something like that.
It's kind of geeky, but I'm kind of excited because one of the streaming television services is offering, I don't know if you remember back in the day, they did like top 100 scariest movie moments, and they show like little parts of scary movies, and I think it might be Shudder that's going to do that again, like with like recent scary horror movies.
Those, I used to sneak watch those all the time as a kid. It was like I would have a different channel on the previous channel button on the remote, so if my parents came in the room, I'd go.
Well, like some scary movies, you're not sure, like, am I gonna like that or not, and so it just gives you like a little. Like just a little snip into what, like, oh, maybe I don't want to watch that. That just looks too. I don't really like the really graphic horror movies. It's more of the kind of suspenseful ones.
Yeah, me too. I can't do gore.
No.
Okay, so what about? Do you remember the very first book you read by yourself, or maybe if you don't remember exactly? Like maybe the one that had the most impact on you?
I remember the Beverly Cleary books very well, the Ramona Quimby books. And I think she was, I don't know for sure, but I feel like maybe she was kind of progressive for her time a little bit because, they started out with like Ramona, I'm trying to remember what the first one was. Was it just Ramona Quimby maybe?
Ramona Quimby, age 8. Was that the first one?
That might have been. Oh no, Ramona the Pest.
Oh, yeah.
And just like those dynamics with I shouldn't say this, but with the younger sister and the older sister, because my sister and I have an older sister. I'm sure she liked that I was a pest and stop following me around. But, as she started to write more of her books, she really kind of added in like family things that, maybe other authors had, more realistic things like Ramona and her father, her dad loses his job. I think she's in 2nd grade. And just kind of like how that, conflict just kind of was hard on her family and how it affected the different members of the family too. And so, I think she was just such a great author and found just a real niche for what kids wanted to read.
Does she do the motorcycle? What's the motorcycle mouse? Mouse and the motorcycle?
Oh, yeah.
She does those.
Motorcycle too, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved those books.
Yeah.
She's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really like those are ones I definitely remember. I kind of remember reading Trixie Belden, which that totally dates me, but she, I think, was sort of the precursor to Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
So she was kind of this detective girl that tried to solve mysteries in her town or neighborhood. So I do vaguely remember reading those when I was a kid, and it's interesting because, we have the main library and then we have our 2 branch libraries. When I was growing up, we had a lot of branch libraries. And so, I went to school in Leeds and the library was just like 2 or 3 blocks from my house and a block from school. So I remember the first day of summer vacation, when school got out, I run to the library and go and see, check out as many books as I could for summer. So great memory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Adorable.
And it felt so big. The library's like, oh, it's so big. And I don't know if it's that building that's kind of across from the Dollar General in Leeds. Where it's the Leeds Library. And it's like, no, it really isn't that big. I just felt like there's books everywhere that I can read.
Well, we got a comment on our last discussion. My husband had to throw in there that I only let him watch scary movies in October.
Poor guy.
All year round. He can watch them, but October is definitely spooky season.
He's going to watch them by himself, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was a good segue. So I feel like we probably know the answer to this. But do you have a favorite movie genre?
Well, I do like horror movies, but like I said, not the very graphic ones. Actually, Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies, just because I just, for the time, like just the special effects were just amazing. I remember thinking, there's a dinosaur behind you. I didn't see that. That's great. Oh my gosh. Things in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Yeah. Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time.
Is it really? Yeah.
Yep.
I just, and I'll watch it again. It just, when Alan Grant pulls his glasses off because he sees the dinosaur for the first time, it's pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh. Then the kitchen scene is like one of my favorite movie scenes of all time.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And I remember kind of like in number 2 and 3, I really did like the first Jurassic World.
Me too.
Also.
Yeah.
I watched that one a bunch of times. The second one was okay. I have not seen the third one yet.
It's fun.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's funny because as soon as it came to streaming, my husband said, it's at streaming now. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just feel like I need to have a night where I just know I just want to sit and, watch it and take it all in, rather than while I'm doing laundry or.
Yeah. You need to get a drink, make some popcorn, you need to sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. Even if, some people didn't like it. I think I'll still like it because it brings some of those original characters back.
It's also just fun. It reminded me of being a kid again, because I was like, this is the way I would have made a Jurassic Park movie if I were a child.
Cool. Okay. So I'll like it. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe this weekend.
And it's more dinosaurs, which is always a good thing.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, well, I lost my place. You've talked about movies. Before we move on to the next question, though, I was thinking of a follow-up question to this one. Since we've talked so much about horror movies, what is your favorite horror movie?
I really liked the original Halloween movie.
Ooh.
That's
good
one
one.
that I kind of like watching every year at Halloween time, just because it was kind of more of what you didn't see, and there were some parts that were, scary for sure. But I just, for whatever reason, I just think that one was really well. And I had watched something that talked about like the making of it, and it got not very good reviews, like when they first did it with test audiences, but then they added the music. And then the audience, I'm like, that just shows the power of music and how it can enhance something rather than, it's not taking it over, but it's just adding to it.
I used to hate that song when I was a kid. Oh, it just creeped me out. It still does. So
I mean, honestly, like, it's not a movie, but something that I watched that I keep feeling like I want to see something that's very similar is, I don't know if you guys have seen The Haunting of Hill House, the series on Netflix.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's based on the story by Shirley Jackson.
Yeah.
Just loosely, it definitely takes liberties to change characters and things.
Very much.
Yeah, very much. But I just loved it because it was scary, but it was also like kind of slow to build. You really built up the characters, so you got to know them and kind of their motivations, and just like really like the family dynamics and conflicts that you have, like with your siblings or with anybody that you're a family member with. And I've tried to find something similar to it, and I just have not. I just thought it was really good, really well done.
Very cool. And that was a wonderful segue, because my original question I was supposed to ask was if you have any favorite TV shows or anything like streaming, docuseries, stuff like that. So Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House. I don't know that, I'm not sure if I would call it favorite, but one that I really liked was Blackfish. That's the documentary about the orca whales, in SeaWorld. And I read a couple books kind of related to it too, and how it's just very interesting how the whole idea of not thinking of animals, in the same way that we worry about people. And these animals, these whales, were in their family groupings, and they would take them away from their children or their mate and try to put them with this kind of made up family grouping, and just the problems that it caused, because I guess, just they had feelings for the whales that they lived with. And so that one was one I just found really interesting as far as a documentary.
Cool.
All right. Now we've got some really important, hard-hitting questions for you. So are you ready?
Yeah.
Make or break.
Yes. Okay. Where is your favorite place to eat here in Sioux City?
Oh boy. I feel like I'm going to offend someone by saying some place that they don't like, or I really like Texas Roadhouse. I'm really a chicken Caesar salad person.
I love chicken Caesar salad.
Oh, I find myself a lot of times like not diverging into new things as much as like I know I'm gonna like this, so this is what I'm gonna eat. So and Texas Roadhouse has just the best chicken Caesar salads, and they have really great the rolls that they have. I like the cornbread muffins from Famous Dave's. Those are pretty awesome. Probably two. We eat a lot of pizza in our house. We tend to not go out to eat as much, and maybe a little bit from COVID, and maybe just sometimes it's easier to go home and eat instead of like going to a restaurant. And so yeah, we get a lot of pizza, or I live in Leeds, so we get Sonic, sometimes Dairy Queen.
Oh yeah.
So what's your favorite Sioux City pizza though?
My husband has always loved Jerry's. And I wasn't as much of a Jerry's fan, but lately I'm really liking Jerry's a lot. I really do like their pizzas.
Interesting.
So, and I'm pretty boring. Like, it's pepperoni with extra cheese. It's pretty much what
you can't go wrong with pepperoni.
I don't get a lot of extras. So Little Caesars is good in a pinch, and my boys love their breadsticks. So I do like Little Caesars too, but I really do like, and Pizza Ranch is good too.
Pizza Ranch is dangerous. I
was just
overeat
there the other
every
day.
single time.
Mhm.
Well, and
You
Pizza
have
Ranch,
to.
when we get Pizza Ranch, we get like so much stuff because we get like, oh, let's get chicken and breadsticks, and we better get the dessert pizza, and then what about wings? And
Don't forget the ice cream. And ice
Mhm.
cream.
Cactus bread with ice cream is the
Mm.
best.
Pizza Ranch is like a ritual.
never tried that, so I'm gonna have to give that a go. That sounds really good.
Nice.
All right, now we'll switch it up. So, what is a place you've always wanted to travel to?
Well, I've always wanted to go to Disney World, and I've never been.
That's
So, I mean, a
fun.
lot of people have been there. So, I just thought it'd be cool to do like Universal Studios, and there's the Harry Potter thing, So, I would love that because I do really like the Harry Potter books a lot too. I always thought Australia would be pretty cool too as a country to visit
Mhm.
with the koala bears and the kangaroos.
Don't forget the snakes.
Oh,
You can forget the snakes.
I didn't know about snakes.
That's a tough topic.
Part of the problem though is I shouldn't tell on him, but my husband is afraid of flying. So either I'm gonna have to go alone or like with my sister, or I'm gonna have to be able to drive there.
By
You should go
boat
on a
to
world tour. You
Australia.
should go to Disneyland and then Australia.
There you go.
Like go to one and then the other.
Okay.
Ellen says
Oh,
you go to Disney World.
There you go.
awesome. Sounds good, Ellen.
Okay.
It'd be fun to go to Disney World with.
I have the next question, and I already have a follow-up question for it, maybe. But the question I'm supposed to ask is, what is your favorite 1980s song?
Oh. Well, I'm kind of a closet metalhead, I have to admit, because I'm an 80s teenager. Like I graduated in 85. So but favorite song, gosh, that's tough.
You can pick an album or a group or something if that's easier.
Earlier today, we were talking about albums, and I remember the album that I really wanted for my birthday, and I don't know if I was in high school yet. I might have been like in 7th or 8th grade, was Kiss Alive 2. And I got it for my birthday.
Nice.
I was like so pumped.
Nice.
But I don't know. I like some of the modern people too. I like Shinedown. I like Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know if many people have heard of them, but Guns N' Roses, Green Day. I mean, there's a lot of those bands that have kind of been around for a long time are the ones.
Good mix. It's a good mix.
You knew what my follow-up question was because I was going to ask. I was like, I've heard whispers that you like metal, and those whispers have been confirmed.
I think I
love
would have
it.
told you that.
I can't remember either. I also wouldn't reveal my source.
That's right. Yeah.
I heard that you're
I
a
would
closet
ask you
metalhead. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a very I have music, and it's a very eclectic, broad listening style that I have. And so there was one day that I think at story time I was doing a Lori Berkner song, on my phone onto the speaker, and then it ended up going to the next song in my playlist, and it was Hailstorm. I was like, oh, it was like one of their ones that starts out really,
You were like, oh.
That's hilarious.
Well, maybe once you learn the ukulele, you can do some ukulele metal renditions, and then it'll be more story time.
That would be so awesome. I would
That'd be
love that. But
great.
it's I just think I know how to play the piano, but I cannot the guitar and the ukulele. They're just tough,
They are.
So I can't get my short fingers to move the way that I want them to for those
Something about the
chords.
strings
Yeah.
trips me up. Very cool. Well, I'm happy that that's been confirmed. That's a wonderful fun fact.
Things that people might not know about me and be like, I remember going to the Motley Crue concert too a couple years back.
Ooh.
Then it was when they were in Sioux City, and a patron had come in, a gentleman, and he kind of looked at me. He's probably 10, 15 years younger, and he said, "Did I see you at Motley Crue?" I said, "Yes." I thought so, but I was just kind of surprised to see the lady from the library there. I was like, well,
That's great.
That's funny.
Horror movies, metal, and children's picture books.
Yep.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Well, this next question, I'm not sure how much it will reveal about you, but
Okay.
what's the last gift you gave to someone?
Oh boy. I feel like it's probably money,
A great gift.
Yeah. One of my nieces had a birthday, and they don't live in town, and so it's kind of hard to know like what they like. So I do like giving books as gifts too, but I just feel like it's better to know like what books they already have before.
Yeah, that's true.
So or an Amazon gift card or Barnes and Noble gift card.
Right.
So
Yeah.
All right. Well, we know that you said you're not an adventurous eater, so this might be a really easy or really hard question. But what's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
Probably buffalo. I feel bison meat.
That's fair.
We have some friends that live in Minnesota and that went to like a buffalo feed or a bison feed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't mind. I mean, I'm definitely not vegan. I would like to aspire to be, but I like, chicken and, but I wasn't real keen on it. I don't know why.
Sure. Not into the red meat as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Understandable.
Buffalo, the other red meat. All right. Well, I guess
or anything like that. So
sticking with food, do you have a favorite kind of cheese?
I like extra sharp cheddar.
Okay.
Ooh, you can't go wrong. You
Can't go wrong. Yeah, I do because it's so flavorful. Mild cheddars you can put up in pretty much anything, but I do like Parmesan a lot too. Kind of goes along with the chicken Caesar salad.
Yep.
So and we pasta in our house, spaghetti or goulash. We make goulash, and I like the shredded Parmesan more than I like the grated Parmesan. So I don't know why. It's a personal preference.
All cheese is good cheese to
All
me.
cheese is good. Both my kids, like I'll go to the grocery store and I'll be like, cheese block, cheese block, cheese block, cheese slices, shredded cheese. And I think they wonder about me sometimes. But I'm like, my kids really like cheese.
All the cheese.
Cheese.
All right. So what is your least favorite color?
It kind of depends because I want to say black, but I wear a lot of black. So
like metal.
I like
And metal, yeah.
and what?
You like metal music. You have
You gotta wear black.
Never tried the black lipstick. I don't know how that would look, but
Ooh.
least favorite. I don't really love yellow on me as a color to wear. But as far as like least favorite, just I like all the colors.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's an acceptable
I guess.
answer. All right. Coffee or tea or neither?
Neither.
What do you drink then? What gets you through the day, Carol?
I'm gonna be real Midwestern. I'm gonna say pop. I drink my pop.
With
I
caffeine,
too
though?
say pop.
Caffeine, yeah. Soda.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a Coke person, except for I like Mellow Yellow, which is a Coke product, and I like Barks Root Beer. It's probably my favorite drink.
Wow.
But you can't get cancer bottles in Sioux City. You can get it at the tap. But so Pepsi, Mellow Yellow. And it's strange because my oldest son, is a coffee drinker. I don't know where he got it.
That's funny.
I was gonna be like scared for you if you work with children and don't have some kind of caffeinated beverage. You're like, I don't know how you do it.
Yes, I definitely need my caffeine.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I think we've probably raked you over the coals enough for one day. So maybe we'll have you back for round 2 sometime.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. I feel so honored to finally be here, like in actuality, rather than trying to just photobomb and.
Well, now that the audience knows you, you'll have to pop in the frame and wave next time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there will be a next
With your
time.
armful of supplies.
I like how Michael described it the first time. The look on my face was like, Michael, you'll have to do it like sort of in shock, like, oh no. And the second time it was more like, oh. Again.
Well, and so thank you, Carol, for being here. And of course, thank you to our viewers for watching along and hopefully having a good time. We still love to hear from you. Even if you are watching later, you're not able to catch us live, we'd still love to hear what you're thinking. Or if you have a comment or question, we can always track Carol down and ask her and post her question or her answer later. So we have no problem doing that. And of course, you can always reach us at questions@SiouxCityLibrary.com if you will, or .org, sorry. Every once in a while I got to do that, .org. You can always reach us by email there. And of course, we'll be back next week. What is next week?
That's probably book drop, right? It
Book
came
drop?
from book drop.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. So tune in next week and you can see some newly returned items to the library, see what other people around here are reading. And yeah.
Well, thanks for
Until
having
then.
me. You guys do
Yeah,
such a great
thanks,
job.
Carol.
Oh,
And
Thanks again,
Carol.
Carol. It was so much
what
fun.
to talk about. So very fun.
Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.